We are back. Welcome to the show. I'm Yonni Root.
And I'm just Terryl. You ever been out somewhere and overheard two people having crazy conversations?
Well, we are those two people, and we've been having these conversations since college, but not about this show.
Exactly. It's the Regular Guys Random Thoughts podcast, Married at First Sight recap episode. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment.
Yep. Now, we are 7 episodes in. You've been waiting for some drama, and the couples are finally back from the honeymoon, moving in together. And you know what? Before we get to it, I gotta let everybody know why you're gonna have this little scowl on your face too, though. Before we get into these couples moving in together, gotta let them know the reason why we're here. And the reason we're here is because back in the day, Terryl made a deal with the devil and said he'd never watch The Bachelor until they had a black bachelor. So what happened? They said, "Hold my beer." Enter Matt James, and so he was stuck having to watch The Bachelor. Me being the great friend that I am, I watched with him. That's what we do, right? That's what friends do. So as payback, of course, because that's what also friends do, I made him watch something that I like, which is Married at First Sight. And here we are, season 13, 7 episodes in. The couples are moving in, and we're just going to run down the couples. Let's start with Jose and Rachel as they are paired on the show, moving in. What did you think?
Before I get to Jose and Rachel, I never said I was a great friend. So you doing this is great, but I never said that we are the same, and I'm a great friend, and I'm going to watch this crap with you. So
you see how I skated right past that, tried to not give you a chance to respond?
Oh, yeah, I know that, but I was going to let it happen.
And stay there.
Yeah, no. Let the record show I was voluntold that we're going to watch Married at First Sight. So, but anyway, I'm going to take it serious because I'm a professional, and I care. So Jose and Rachel. It's a lot of what we saw from the honeymoon that I think we're seeing as they see each other's houses. Jose is very set in his ways, and he has this. I think he's had this mindset of what he thought marriage was going to be for him. And so for him, like, this is what it has to be because I've been thinking about this. This was on my vision board, right? It has to be like this,
right? And
he's going to be in for a rude awakening. So I see why the experts put those two together.
We know somebody like that too. I would say a friend of ours, but probably more friend of mine than yours. And she got when she got married, she had this vision of marriage too, where it was like, all right, so I'm cutting all my friends off. I'm cutting all my sorrows off. Everything I used to do no longer happens because it's only about me and my husband. And that did not work out very well I don't think they made it the first year because, you can't just change everything.
Do I know this person?
You do know this person. I'm not going to tell you on the podcast. I'll tell you all.
Okay.
I don't want you to say the things that will come to your mind when I tell you who it is. Not on the podcast. I wouldn't allow you to do that to yourself.
Okay. Appreciate that.
But let's just say they didn't make it through the first year because he had a different vision of what marriage was going to be than she did. And she had this, I'm giving up everything. And he's like, yeah, I'm not changing shit. So those are two extremes. Jose is in that extreme in that sense that he's very judgmental.
But when he was showing off his house.
Yeah.
Now, his house is nice, but he's materialistic as hell.
Yes.
And the way he was pointing stuff out, what do you think this couch do? What does your couch look like? And all that. And then I was like, I'm watching him point all this stuff out. And then why do you have your budget on a whiteboard for anybody to see? It's one thing if it was like in a secret office locked up, but you have that, and then you tell her that, hey, well, I'm going to make this for you too. And so you're going to be good. That's going to be really interesting. And then when he went to go see her place, I knew he went in there judgy as fuck.
Of course he did.
Totally did. Just judging everything about her. And I like the fact that when the pastor met with him, I think that was a good dialogue to help him understand that you have this brain that wants to do this. Here's what she brings for you that's going to make you better, and you got to loosen up. And so you have to see if they pull that off. But I don't blame Rachel for having some concerns. I would go ahead and make sure she has a separate bank account where she puts a few dollars away just in case.
But I am with him on one thing. I will say this. I haven't been with Jose on a lot of things at all. But in this one, I don't use the dishwasher to wash dishes either. I use it more so as a dryer. Like I wash my dishes by hand because I know they're clean that way, right? So put them in. I do think that Rachel's alarms could be a problem. But you know what? At the end of the day, I could deal with that because your alarms may not wake me up. Plus, I am the person I'd rather you get up early and make sure that you're up on time to be wherever you're going rather than be late. So, I'm not mad at her alarms, but Jose is definitely, as you said, judgmental as shit. You watched him walk into her place, judging, and he's just like, oh, the water bottles. What are you, a hoarder? They're neatly in the friggin' corner. Shut your ugly, fake mustache, beard having ass up.
Well, he was judging her before any of that when he said, oh, where do you live? And she told him, he's like, okay, what apartments? Because he knew that she lived rented. But here's what's interesting, and I think this is where I get Jose a little bit. Rachel takes these trips overseas and does all these things. It's great, you want to see the world. His mindset is, A, you're renting. Why are you renting an apartment and spending thousands of dollars on all this travel? Why do you have this car that has all these problems, but yet you're going to drop $2 or $3 grand to go to whatever country? I get where he's coming from, and they're going to have to find a balance between that.
You judges bastard, you! You probably judge all these people in this apartment complex here in my work apartment that have Maseratis and Teslas and Mercedes Benz because they're living in an apartment.
No, but if they had a beat up, shitty car that's barely working and you drop $2,500 to go to Greece, you're a fool.
Okay, I'm judging them though. I'm telling you that off the rim. How the hell you got such an expensive ass car living in an apartment? Get your goddamn house.
Maybe they got kicked out of their house because they was cheating. Stop judging. It's not your business why they're in the apartment. That's just where they are. Okay. Leave them alone.
I will say this though about Jose and Rachel. I think I said it before. No, I don't know if did I? I think I did. That they would be the next to consummate the marriage, and they were. At least the next to admit they consummated the marriage.
There you go. They did admit it.
Yes,
they did admit it.
Well, your favorite couple. Let's talk about them next. Gil and Myrla.
Okay, so it was interesting. Normally, every episode, we don't really have much to say about them because I think everyone that watches this show, you and I think majority of America, we're all aligned that Myrla's evil. But what I did notice, what I did like about this episode, Gil was like clowning Myrla on the cool.
Yes.
Like when he was talking about, so there's pictures of yourself, you really like yourself. Because I think that's weird too when I see girls do that. It literally looks like you're crazy.
Why is that crazy?
I just think it's crazy to have a bunch of pictures of yourself in your own bedroom. Like,
do you have pictures of yourself in your house?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't. There's the pictures I do have. It's like me and family. It's a family pic. My mom, my stepdad, my brother. We have a picture. It's on the frame.
But I don't have pictures. I don't need you to see anything here. No, I'm kidding. I don't have
pictures of myself doing backwards handstands and all this shit. And I don't do that. I don't need to do that.
That's because you can't do a backwards handstand. Stop that shit. No, but don't act like you can do it.
Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Okay? But here's what I thought. When she made the comment about, he said, well, you really love yourself. She goes, I think everybody does. Here's what I took out of that exchange. I think that she grew up so poor that all of this materialistic stuff, like all these things, is what helps her feel like she's not poor, where she still doesn't feel like she's good enough on her own. Yeah. So she has to buy these $600 pair of shoes to like show the world, look, I've made it. And so I think maybe that's what came out for me today in watching her. And I don't feel sorry for her by any means, but I think that there's this part of her that she has to do this flashy shit and be this personality that we all don't like, but to show the world like where I've come from and I'm badass. But she's only doing that because she's not as happy with herself as she boasts to be. Does that make sense?
Very good, Terryl, the psychologist. I will say this, though. I would have really preferred had the experts matched her with Jose, because I would have loved to see him look at her closet and go, Jesus Christ, how much money did you spend on these damn shoes? And you're living in an apartment? If he thinks Rachel is bad, he needs to go visit Myrla's apartment. You know what, baby?
Yeah.
Not so bad. That $2,000 on this trip is not so bad because she's spending $2,000 a month on shoes.
Yeah, agree.
So, I will say though that Myrla's still a killjoy, man. And I really want to know why she's even on the show, because she just seems to hate everything. And Gil saying that you can take the whole bed for all I care is him saying GTFOH. Seriously, I just don't give a shit anymore. I'm here so I don't get fined. I'm here so I collect my check. And when this shit is over, it's all said and done. He knows this shit is done, and you can see it. That's why he's doing those jabs on the sly and hitting her with these, these all these underhanded, backhanded compliments. Why? Because he knows, all right, I'm going to do this for TV because you ain't here for what you're supposed to be here for. I'm just going to have fun with it.
So I'm going to go ahead and put in my nomination now for Gil to be the next Bachelor. He'll be the next the next black Bachelor.
I like the Bachelor. That's actually good.
Yeah,
the Bachelor.
Maybe that's what it is, the Bachelor, the Black Bachelor.
I will say this though, I do agree with Myrla. I don't like dog kisses, so she and I finally, again, look at this. This is crazy. This episode's so wild. I agree with Jose on something, and I agree with Myrla on something. I don't like dog kissers, but if I'm Gil, I'm kissing the dog because Myrla ain't hitting on shit.
I'll kiss the dog before I kiss Myrla.
You nasty fuck.
Before I kiss Myrla. Hey, dog kisses are amazing. At least dog kisses would mean it. Myrla would kiss me like, fuck, the camera's here. I guess I got to give you one peck. It's kind of, it's almost kind of like oral on your birthday. Well, damn it, it's your birthday. I got to do it.
Yeah.
No.
Matter of fact, keep that birthday shit.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I want that
Give
shit
me
when
the
I don't
stick
expect.
instead, and I'll go to sleep.
I want it because I just got out the shower. How about that?
Exactly. So no, I love doggy kisses, and so I don't blame him for kissing his dog way more than he would want to kiss Myrla.
And the fact that she was like, "Oh, not even a peck," I'm like, you know what? And that she could go through the whole experiment without giving him a kiss. I think that's kind of, she's sabotaging this from the get-go again. Why is she even here? Why are we even wasting time? Let's move on to another worthless couple, Ryan and Brett.
So Ryan and Brett, nothing's changed for me over the last couple of weeks. I really think that Ryan is not interested in Brett as much as she might be. Honestly, I don't think she's feeling him that much. Right. I think they're going through the motions. They're trying, right, which is great. At least they're putting some effort in.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Exactly. So they're putting some effort in, so I think that's great. But I just don't see it there. We always joke that Ryan has these crazy eyes, and he totally does. Now, when you look at Ryan's house compared to Brett's house, I thought that was interesting because Brett's place looked like what I expected it to look like. She's like a creative teacher type, so she has all that artwork and the crayons and all that, which I thought was cool, and it was cute. I totally knew Ryan had a deer head in his house.
Of course.
I just knew. I'm like, you're a hunter. You have something hanging on your wall somewhere. But I love their love of their dogs. But I just don't think that group is going to work out. I think they're also kind of going through those motions of, we got to get through these next few weeks.
Correction. You love the love of their own dogs because serial killer Ryan wanted to kill off Brett's dog on the first day. He did. He was like, well, your dog's older.
Yeah. Your dog's 11 years old. Just lived a good life. So
it's time to put it out to pasture. How about that? And of course, Ryan thinks intimacy's moving slow because he's like, this is the serial dater. He's the guy that, was knocking them down one by one, 2 by 2, and 3 by 3. And so he's just like, all right, if I'm going to be stuck with one person for 2 months, I mean, Jesus, let me at least get some. So, of course, he thinks intimacy's moving slow. But yes, it's definitely, this episode was definitely a dog's life episode, as you see. Everybody meeting their dogs. The people, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Johnny and Bao didn't have a dog. They didn't have dogs, did they?
No, they didn't. They didn't have dogs at all.
Okay.
It was mainly Zach, Michaela, Brett, and Ryan, and
Gil had one, and then,
Gil and Zach, Michaela, get Ryan. Gil has a dog, and Myrla didn't want to touch the dog.
Yeah.
Myrla didn't even want to touch the damn dog. I'm just like, the dog is just whining just for affection from this new person in his space. Pet the dog.
And Gil is going, listen here, brother. I understand. She's not showing me affection either.
No, I think kudos to Gil for saying, no, come pet the dog and say hi to Hype. Like, you're not going to come in his house and just ignore him.
Exactly.
I respected that. So good job.
Listen with your rude ass. And speaking of rude, why is Bao turning into Myrla when she first walked in the house? I mean, I was like, oh my God, what is wrong with you?
I have a lot of notes about Bao today. This is one of those. This is not a pro Bao episode, so let me just be. And I'm getting to the point, and I'm trying to check myself, but I'm getting to the point that when Bao comes on screen, I'm already just like, ugh. No matter what she says, she could say, "Hey,
are you
black
holding your
people are
nose like,
amazing."
oh, you funky butt?
Yeah, stink ass. Well, here's the deal. She has a bidet, so maybe she doesn't have a stink ass. It's just her underarms are gross. But at least she's washing her butt every time she goes to bed.
Did you notice how Johnny was excited about the bidet too? Because now he knows that, you know, it's maybe he could excuse that lack of a shower because she's not coming to bed with a funky cooch. So
yeah, but she got the funky pits. So there's that.
Keep your arms down, baby. Keep your arms down.
Yeah, and I don't care how thin you are. There's that neck sweat, that neck stink that can get around here, right? So with Bao, so complaining about the apartment, I was just like, what is your deal? You're living there for a couple months rent free. Why are you complaining? And to Johnny's point, she's like a killjoy. Yes. Like the way she looks at it, I'm like, God, this would be so boring to be around you. Again, her saying that she doesn't want to be, shower at night. Now, here's what I thought was funny. I thought that Bao, I in my notes, she HR'd Johnny. So when Johnny was saying, hey, I'm going to go home, I just need to spend a couple days, she was just like, she HR'd him. She said, well, Johnny, that's interesting. I'm really disappointed to hear that. And I hope this is not setting a precedent because what I would expect going forward, it was total HR jargon. I'm like, you go, Bao.
Now you read my book.
You must follow us on YouTube and Apple. So there was that. And then Bao said she feels she has to initiate all the touch. Where did that come from?
Apparently the part that they're not showing us because...
Exactly, because I'm like, everything I'm seeing, it's not about that. Now, do I think Johnny was a little too honest at the end when the pastor was talking and he was saying that it's like she's like a child, which I laughed, but I'm like, hey, tell how you feel.
Yeah.
But he was just a little too honest in that. But this is what I've been saying for this whole time. Is why I think they're not going to work out. Is this whole intimacy issue? You disagree with me, but right now, what happened today says I'm right.
Well, first of all, kudos for Johnny for not being for that R. Kelly shit, okay? So, kudos to Johnny for that. Don't spit up on the mic. Don't do that. But I will say that she kind of set that precedent.
Yeah.
I thought early on in the honeymoon, Johnny was being way too honest, right? I'm like, Johnny, don't say that. And she's like, no, well, I'm glad you said that. So that he got comfortable and realized I do have to say these things. Now, on that part, he didn't really want to. But when they showed the clips, the part about her saying, now get in the hammock and all that stuff, I guess that's nitpicking. Yeah. However, I do get the giddy part when he's kissing and he tried to go for a deeper kiss. You know, did a peck, then he went for the deeper kisses. Yeah. What are we, 12?
She's a gremlin.
and here's the thing. This is a woman who has done one-night stands. So it's...
Okay. Yes. Okay. That's what I've been thinking about this whole time, is that it's 10 days. You've not slept with Johnny. Mm-hmm. You've had a one-night stand at least once. You admitted it. Mm-hmm. You have someone that you know. She's different than every other girl on the show in the sense that she knows Johnny from college. Yes. They have history. And she had a
crush on him for all...
Exactly. You had a crush on him for all this time, and that's someone you won't sleep with, but you had a one-night stand with someone else. Now, I'm not knocking one-night stands.
And you're assuming there's only one someone else, because it could have been a couple someone else's.
Could have been, right? Mm-hmm. Could have been. But my whole point is, you had a one-night stand with somebody. Johnny is someone you've known. Y'all have a history. You've been attracted to him, and you won't sleep with him. Like, that was my whole point earlier, previous episodes, where I was like, why are these people not sleeping together? I don't understand. But for Johnny and Bao, those should have been the first two to consummate.
Indeed, because they have the history. Like how Myrla's like, well, I don't know you yet. You're still a stranger. Well... Bao can't say that because they're not strangers. They've known each other for years. She's been crushing on him for years. So and you know, like I know, when you get your crush later on in life and you're like, hey, you ain't waiting. There's no, because you're not going to allow that moment to go again. She has him right there with the commitment. Even though I will say this, though, I'm feeling her on doubting his level of commitment when he wanted to go away for a couple days. A couple days, Johnny? What the fuck are you thinking? And even leaving for the night. I get you got to clear your mind. I mean, if she goes to bed and let her snore her ass off in that bed. You go in the living room and you sit down and you get in the thinking man position and you're like, all right, what the fuck is going on?
You got to put the fingers in your ears.
Her ass. Yeah. She won't wash her ass. Well, maybe her ass, but not her armpits. She's always. I'm not into this R. Kelly shit. You know, she's not happy when she walks into this nice apartment. What the fuck? And then you just go into bed and you're like, all right, cool, let's go to bed. You know, but get over that shit. You do not leave the house. I don't even believe in sleeping in separate rooms and separate beds. I'm like, yo, I don't camp in my house. I live there. So therefore, I'm sleeping in the bed. Now, if you're mad, we can put a pillow between us. We can turn back to back. We can be a little. We can have our distance to the bed. Or if somebody gonna sleep on the couch, I know who's not gonna be.
That's totally fine. I think it's totally fine. I
Don't
think
leave.
it's okay to. I think it's okay to have nights where you sleep separately. I think it's okay to say. I think it's okay to leave sometimes if you need to leave, but
not this early.
No, but here's the deal. I could love you to death. I could be in love with somebody and be married for 10 years. You get the flu, I ain't fucking sleeping in the bed with you. I'm sleeping in a separate room. Love you to death with the long spoon. I'm going to spray some Lysol in the room. I'm going to close the door.
That's why you're still single. See, look, that's that shit right there. You can spray some Lysol.
But also, you know what? I don't have the flu. Boom.
Oh, this bullshit ass philosophy. Jesus Christ. Well, we knew the drama was coming, and if we had to guess, we would have guessed, because they kind of gave it to us from the very beginning. Zach and Michaela would be the first ones with the the drama. So skipping straight to the drama, I'm just gonna say I agree with Michaela on the abusive nature of abandonment. I've never been a fan of when people just decide to just, again, same thing with Johnny. Why are you leaving? Stay your ass in there. Y'all are too new at this to be walking out now. It's if you start bailing this early, when she starts doing it now, you'll be mad. Don't do that. Same thing with Zach. Zach was being sneaky. He kind of snuck out that damn house. Oh, I fell asleep, and then this. Now, granted, she overreacted. She definitely overreacted, but he set that up. And I will say, if he saw the video footage of her slamming them damn wipes down, and them wipes did nothing to you, girl, and you just fucked them up completely. Why? Just because this man left the house. Okay,
so I'm 100% crazy Michaela on this story because, and I've been saying this for weeks, that there's something shady about Zach.
Yes.
Now, I have spent a weekend in my lifetime with a random person that I was going to go get bagels, and I just left a note. I'm going to get us bagels. I knew I'm not going to see you again. I know this is the weekend fling, and this is all this is going to be. I still left you a damn note saying I'm going to go get bagels.
Yes.
He could have easily have done that. And so for him to have left the way he did and not do that, and then not recognize why she is pissed, and then to get to the point to say, I'm really done having this conversation. And I'm just like, oh, snap. Because you were doing something. And when he was trying to explain where he went, it got a little, and you know how men are when we lie.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. When we lie, we get all, well, I was trying to go to take the dog to go get some, he needed to get some shots. And I forgot to tell you that the dog needed to get some shots. And so I don't understand why you tripping.
Dog was going for some shots, but they didn't have Tito's at this doggy bar, so I had to go to the other doggy bar.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's something shady about that whole story, but I agree with her about why she was so mad. Now, for her to leave, yes, I think that was the wrong response. And if she has abandonment issues, as Kevin Samuel says, get some therapy and work through that. But you just can't be like, oh, he's gone, I'm going to grab my stuff and leave, because that's going to cause a problem. But it's building up. The drama's going to come closer with those two. But here's what was interesting the most from this was the eye squints from Michaela. Like, that is crazy Michaela. It was just coming out. She's looking at him, just heard it all before.
Look, she's definitely not feeling him on that. I will say Pastor Cal is good in getting them to hold hands again and breaking down. Well, you did this kind of jokingly, but it was serious. You know, It was half joking, half serious, and he felt a kind of way he didn't want to go back in. And yeah, he did bullshit in that. And the fact that he was like, "Oh, are you okay?" No, he knew she wasn't okay.
Exactly.
You know when you walk into a room and there are knives flying in that air. You know that, right? And you're right. You could have left a note because, like you said, you've done it before. I've had even somebody who just one night stand who's left a note. Hey, thanks for a great night. You know. Look, if they could leave a goddamn note,
something. Exactly.
This is your wife, brother. Leave her a note. Hey, had to take the dog out. I'll be back. Love you, babe. You know. Hey, didn't want to wake you. Smooches. Yeah. Something. But when you're sneaking, and this is how guys mess up all the time, right? And it's because when you're about to do something wrong, you do things and you're not thinking properly. And I'm not saying think better to do wrong. I'm just saying don't do wrong. But maybe because you kind of dished this a little tea last week, maybe he was sneaking off to go see Brett.
I thought about that. I didn't want to say anything. I don't want to put anything out there.
While the dog's out there playing in the dog park?
At the dog park, having coffee. How are you doing? How are things going with your relationship? I'm not really feeling it. What about you? Me either. You know what's weird? When we first met, I just felt this thing that I don't feel with my wife or my husband. You know what, Zach? Me too. I totally see that shit.
But I don't see why, because one thing that Zach does have with Michaela is that sexual chemistry.
Yeah.
And of course, sex isn't everything, because Michaela wanted to give it to him when she walked down the aisle. So he got it the first night. He consummated the first night. Not the first night.
Second night.
Second night. Got it the second night, ready to go. And they've been then they got COVID, so never mind. So,
yeah. But I will say, as we said last week, I know a Michaela. I've dated Michaela. One thing you don't do is have sex with a Michaela when they're mad. It does not go well. You have you have a 50-50 chance of making out of that alive. So I'm just saying that you're not when a Michaela type of personality is mad, that's not someone that you try to turn on and have sex with, because it could not go well.
So there's no makeup sex with a mad Michaela.
You got to wait a couple days after they're good. You can't have the argument and then they say, well, let's have makeup sex, because then she's just going to kill you. See if she makes you a sandwich or something, and then you know, okay, everything is cool, everything's good.
That's why I don't deal with Michaelas.
Yeah, no. Be thankful you're not out in these streets.
Well, we are in these Married at First Sight streets, and we'll be back with another recap next week, episode 8. I did see in the previews, and I'm like, I was kind of in and out looking at the previews of the next episode, and what the hell was Johnny crying about?
He got sand in his vagina. You told me not to say it. I'm sorry, I couldn't get it. He got a little sand in his vagina, and he's going to start crying. I don't know why Johnny's crying, but whatever it is, Johnny's just a little bit emotional. And whatever it is that set him off.
The good thing is both him and Bao have a bidet, so he'll be able to wash it out. Hey, don't forget to check out our regular episodes, Regular Guys Random Thoughts. We drop the audio episodes on Monday, video on YouTube on Tuesday, and of course every Wednesday we'll recap it. Married at First Sight, dropping audio and video Wednesday night or first thing Thursday morning if you look at 12:01 being Thursday. So make sure you follow us at Yonni Rude, at Just Terryl, at RGRT Pod.
Yes, send us some of your random thoughts and some of your bullshit, and we'll talk about it on the show.
Yes, and tell us how you feel about this episode.
Who's going to make it? Who's not going to make it? And is Terryl right or is Yonni wrong? Definitely weigh in the comments.
Wait a minute.